Good afternoon. I'm here at the Competition and Markets Authority's offices in London with Paul Kellaway. Hi, Paul.
Good afternoon.
Thanks very much for talking to Regulation Matters. Paul, you were the Assistant Director on the CMA's market study into legal services for individuals and small businesses. Could you just explain to us a little bit about that market study and how it came about?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically in response to various stakeholders having concerns about the affordability and accessibility of legal services. A number of people who could either not afford or chose not to actually use a legal services provider to help them with the problems that they had.
Okay, thank you. And what were the study's main findings?
So the main finding was that there's not very much information out there for consumers to help them choose a legal services provider. Only about 17% of providers put any price information on their website, and only 1 in 5 consumers actually compares more than one legal services provider. So as a result, people are just sort of going with the first provider they come across rather than actually thinking about who's the most suited to serving their needs.
Okay, great. I mean, it's probably fair to say that a lot of consumers out there think that all lawyers are either solicitors or barristers, when in fact there are many different types of lawyers. So I think it's helpful that we looked at that in the report. Okay, so thinking about your recommendations then, one of them was that all the legal regulators had to publish an action plan by the end of June 2017, which has now happened. Links to those action plans are available on the LSB website, and we'll put a link to that on Regulation Matters. So now the action plans are published, how are you going to monitor performance and assessment against those?
Yeah, so we've said we're going to take a step back and let the Legal Services Board, as the expert, the oversight regulator, look through those plans which they're doing this summer and report on what they think about them and their sufficiency. So the regulators can take that on board when they consult on any future changes that they propose to put through. Okay,
thank you. And part of your report looked at a website called Legal Choices. There's information about that on our website. So it's a website that's run by the frontline regulators, and it's there really to provide useful advice on different legal issues and information about different types of lawyers to consumers. Did your report suggest any changes to that Legal Choices website?
Yeah, I mean, we thought that Legal Choices had some really good content on it, but not that many people know about it. But also the way that it's presented could be better sort of aligned to the consumer journey. So when people are asking those who, how, what questions about, who can write a will, who can do my conveyancing, the content is better sort of aligned with that, so people can find the information a bit more easily. And I think once that's sort of been developed, it's going to be a really useful tool for consumers to actually go out and sort of navigate the legal services market.
Okay, thank you. And I think another area that you focused on in your recommendations was around regulators working with consumer and small business groups such as the Legal Services Consumer Panel and Citizens Advice, which the FSB. How will that look in practice?
I mean, what we're expecting is that all these groups can feed into sort of the revamp of legal choices, in terms of what information people would find useful, but also where regulators are planning on introducing new requirements to providers. Making sure that any of those are about providing better information and not just more information, making sure that any of those changes are going to be relevant and meaningful to people, rather than just sort of throwing the kitchen sink at people.
Okay, thank you. So obviously the CMA led the work on the market study. How is the Ministry of Justice, the MOJ, involved?
So the Ministry of Justice is going to respond to us informally once Parliament comes back from recess. We've made a number of recommendations to them, particularly around the independence of regulators from representative bodies, and also about the need in the long term to look at the regulatory framework. So we're waiting for their response to those recommendations at the moment.
Okay, thank you. And do you take an optimistic view now that you've published your report, you've got the regulators who are publishing action plans which are being assessed by the LSB for sufficiency? Are you optimistic that the accessibility will improve for consumers of legal services?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a really positive sort of response from regulators in terms of trying to be proactive and thinking about how to make things work better for people. It's not going to change overnight, but I think from the action plans, I think we're going to see pockets of law, particularly those more commoditised, things like conveyancing, where there's generally more information available already, improving first, and then I think there's likely to be a bit of spillover And it's going to take a number of years, but I'm really confident that actually we're going to see some positive change in the market.
Okay, thank you. And looking ahead to the future then, is there any more consumer-focused research that's in the pipeline, or is that it for now?
There's nothing from the CMA planned. What we have said though is to the LSB and the Legal Services Consumer Panel is actually the work that they're doing, the research programs they conduct are really useful to understanding how the market's changing. And so we should see whether or not any of those changes that we've recommended are having a positive impact and how that's being developed, and whether or not more action is needed in the future.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for talking to Regulation Matters.